well, like, where are we?
Yeah.
We're in Edmonton, in John's aunt's big ass RV home. We are having a screening of Generation Y at the U of A.
So we're just taking a break right now. I'm waiting for the boy to get back with my freshly hand-squeezed lemonade drink. Help around here.
The Globe went really well. I think we got a really good response. Yeah, there was a lot of people that I don't think any of us knew there. Like, a bunch of people came up to me afterwards and said that they have friends at Edmonton that they're going to tell about this screening, and yeah, it was good. I think for me just to watch it as a movie instead of like the first screening where I was just kind of picking apart my performance. But yeah, there was a lot of people at the Globe, and I think they enjoyed it. So,
like Cody said, we did get some people there that weren't really familiar with us personally or with our any of our other works. People that were just interested in seeing a film that were either told by people who already seen it at either the premiere or the late night showing at Canyon Meadows, or people we brought on off the street. And I think everyone who, either if they knew us or not, just really seemed to enjoy the show. And we got a lot of great reactions from people.
No, I actually, on the second screening, that was the viewing where I actually reached a point where I wasn't entirely sure that I loved it as much, but the third time around I came to my senses and no, like for me, the reaction of the second audience, I wasn't quite sure about at first, but the more I thought about it, the more I think they responded better.
The Canyon Meadows show was definitely seemed a lot quieter than both the premiere and then the Globe.
But then again, I think that's kind of the reaction Brendan was going for. Is that right? Like, you seemed happiest with that turnout.
I was. I liked that the audience kind of settled into it and didn't feel like they were stressing to, have the film meet their expectations or anything like that. But are you guys kind of gauging how you feel about the film from the audience's reactions now?
I generally just build an opinion of my own on a movie beforehand. Like, I still really like a lot of things about Lingering, and I think we didn't get a lot of enthusiastic reactions about that one. But yeah, I liked this movie before, and I'll always like it just because I think it's a good script, good story. And
I think you built two separate opinions about it. How you feel about your being in it, how we feel about our performances and how we look up there, and our reactions to the final product, and then another one that's based on how we feel about how other people interpret our performances in the movie as a whole.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like both of them. There is a bigger chance of a lot more people that we don't know being here, and who don't know us as actors and filmmakers or friends or whatever. And their questions and comments could be a lot more honest than people that are just gonna say, oh, they liked it because they know us. Yeah. So it should be even people who we didn't know that came to see it at the the other three, they had a lot of great things to say about it. So I'm expecting hopefully a lot more of the same.
Yeah. And it's different too because it's a different city, so I wonder if a lot of it is the familiarity of the city itself that builds that sentiment. But like Brendan said, it's not really a movie about the city as a whole or the culture in that city, so it'll be different in that way too. Brendan, how nervous are you about this screening in comparison to the other ones?
The premiere screenings are always terrible for me. I get really, really, really nervous. The Globe one I felt really good about, and I felt really good about the midnight one. This is a new nervous, though. I think this is the most nervous I've been since the premiere.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, I think, like just taking to a film to a city, just like, like the people have different expectations. Like if a film is big enough to hop city to city, they expect, something large and something great, and
that's a good
hope
point.
we can deliver.
For the first screening, I was very nervous, and I think a lot of that came from, after finishing the movie and then the large pause in time between that and the premiere, and then kind of not, knowing what Brendan was putting together, not exactly knowing what it was going to be like. That was kind of nerve-wracking. But actually, having seen it, for the fourth, probably almost fifth time now, I know what to expect from the film, and I know what audiences have expected from it and what they've liked about it.
So you're confident enough with the movie where you don't expect people to see certain things from it. You're happy enough with the movie yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it'll be fine.
Well, I think, like, naturally we're all a little more confident now than we were at the premiere, because, like, you know, at the premiere we hadn't seen the final product yet. Like, none of us had. We've just seen bits and pieces of it, but, like, we didn't even know what to expect. But, you know, after a few screenings, we have gotten really positive response. So I think it'll go good. But at the same time, like, this is a completely different audience. So yeah, I guess we'll find out.
This goes right back to what we were saying when we did the commentary. You know, like, we can be joking around doing poop and pee jokes for, you know, a little while, and then all of a sudden, you know, we can snap to something serious. And you know, like, that's what a lot of our conversations are with each other. And
For sure.
they go hand in hand, I think. For, you know,
Poop
if something
and pee,
gets
or-
too serious, then you need to, you know, tame it down with a joke, and vice versa. I think.
Yeah,
Like,
and I
we've
think-
always been like that.
And I think even in the movie, like, a lot of people respond to, like, very serious situations. Like, that's how they cope with it, is by making jokes and stuff. And I think that, you know, the fact that the first half of the movie is very light and fun and funny, that draws the younger audience in. But then the fact that they're still, like, cracking a joke or whatever about what's happening later on, that I think shows just kind of that the movie is a little bit more versatile.
It's definitely a. Yeah, that's a crab apple. The biggest crab apple I have ever seen.
John, now that you've like settled on school and stuff like that, you've gone to SATE to do the food program. How much of the film like still kind of feels like it's a part of your life, and how much of it do you feel like maybe you've satisfied those questions and?
You know, I think I'll always feel like it's a big part of my life. I mean, it would be impossible to think back and, you know, not remember these years after high school and not having a goddamn clue. And, you know, I think the movie helped a lot to try and, you know, satisfy that urge to find something to do. And, you know, school was probably the best option, so that's what I went and did. And
My first year at university, I've been in this program 2 years now, going into my third. But yeah, my first year and even part of my second year, I didn't really know if that was what I wanted to do. And like this, now that when I was reading the script for Generation Y, like, it did apply directly to me back then. But like, I don't know, I like my program. This is something I'm really interested in, and I'm content doing it. So I think, like, I have a plan of what I'm gonna do as far as school and stuff, and I don't think it relates to me as much now in that way.
So your connection to it is kind of like, I have experienced that in the past, and I know friends that live that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I don't think I've ever been the person that, like, just dwells on things and thinks about them at all, really. And I just kind of lived without thinking about any of it for a long time. And I don't know if it was so much the movie or just kind of the movie and other things, like parents, and that made me think of it, but I don't know. I don't think it was the movie a lot to try and get onto some sort of track, but I don't know, that's a good question. I'm trying to think about it a whole lot, really.
I have always dwelled on things. Like, I always worry like nuts. I'm very neurotic. I think I'm not as much that way as some people, but I think whenever I do a project that has something in it that I can relate to, it amplifies those thoughts even more. And I think Generation Y definitely was one of those movies. Whodunit was almost dangerous that way to shoot during high school, during that really depressive time in my life.
So now that you're going to Manuel, how, like, and I know you haven't really, like, fully satisfied that. That's not exactly what you want.
No, it's not. And it's funny because when I think about some of the lines in the movie, I think that applies directly to me. And after one of the screenings for the movie, I don't think it was directly spurred on by the movie, but the movie definitely brought up some thoughts. I still want to audition at an acting school somewhere just to see what happens, because I don't know, I don't think it's good to go without knowing.